Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. So last night I was talking to someone who had actually been a previous customer of mine many years ago, and he asked me a question, and it was related to a company that I used to have. This company grew into this big worldwide company. It was doing over $100 million in revenue per year. And it was enormously successful until one day that it wasn't. It was actually sued and shut down overnight in 2018. And that was the end of that. And there's a lot I want to say about that, but that's gonna have to wait for a future video. But anyway, this guy was asking me, he said to me, how did you build this thing in the beginning? What was your mindset? How did you go about it? And I want to be clear, what I'm about to share with you, this is not me giving you business advice. This relates to any big goal, any big ambitious goal that you have, something that you want to create. But this mindset, this way of approaching it, I think can really help you. Okay, so whatever your big goal is, this is how I would go about achieving it. So I'm a big believer in taking daily, consistent action towards a goal. When I say daily, I mean 7 days a week, where it's always on your mind. Okay, maybe not every second of every day, but it's something that you constantly have at the forefront of your mind, where you're thinking about it and you're thinking, how do I get to the next level? How do I overcome this problem? How do I build it to where I want it to be? You're always thinking about it. It's always percolating in your mind. So having that obsessiveness, I think, is really important. Way too many people, they get excited about this big idea they have, and in the moment, they can do the work, they can take action, they feel inspired, but a few days later, they lose some of that obsessiveness, they stop thinking about it so much, and so they take a little bit less action, and slowly it just dies off. It becomes one of those great ideas they had where they never really followed through. So with my big ideas in the past, the ones that worked, I really obsessed over them. I thought about them a lot. Like from the moment I woke up to the moment I slept, they were always on my mind. And I would always think about what I wanted to create. What was that kind of end goal? Where did I want to take it? And if you could see some of my thoughts at the very start about what I wanted to create, they might have even looked a little bit insane, because I had nothing, but I had this really big idea of what I wanted to do, but I was always thinking about it. And because I was always thinking about it, I was also naturally thinking, okay, what can I do right now to move this forwards? And I was focused on actions that would have a lasting impact. So for example, if you're just doing your normal administrative kind of work, where you're responding to an email, you're talking to someone on the phone about this idea, that doesn't really count as significant work. That's not you putting down a brick. If we're talking about building this brick by brick, you putting down a brick is creating something or taking an action that has a lasting benefit. So a great example is this. What I am doing right now, I'm attempting to build an all-in-one business software, scale fast. This is my main focus right now. And I've got nothing coming in from this at this point financially. I've got a lot going out because I have to pay developers to build it. We're literally building it from scratch, but there's nothing coming in right now. It's still brand new. But every single day, because I'm obsessed with this goal, I think, what significant action or what brick can I lay down? So making a video where I promote it, or where I talk about the future vision, or I'm trying to get potential users for it, that's me doing the work once. I put it out there, I put down that brick, and there's a long-term benefit. Someone might be seeing this in 2024, for example, and it might lead to a future sale. So it's moving me closer towards achieving this big goal, because I'm taking that significant daily action. Writing an email, for example, writing an email that I can put in a pre-written email follow-up sequence, day 1, day 2, day 3, etc. That's me putting in the work to create this marketing automation that can then run without me being there. That is another example of putting down a brick. So every single day I try and put down a brick. It doesn't matter whether it's a Sunday. Yesterday, for example, was a Sunday. I didn't feel like doing anything. I certainly didn't feel like doing any of this, but I forced myself to, because I'm always thinking I need to at least put down one brick each day. Even if it's a small brick, at least I did something. So having that consistency, that's really, really important. And again, this is not business that I'm talking about achieving any grand goal, any grand vision you have. Putting down a brick every day, it's really important. The second thing that I said to this guy is you've got to have faith, okay? You've got to have faith that it's all going to work out. Now, that can be really dangerous if you have blind faith or hope, and that's all you have, because a lot of people have that. A lot of people have this mentality of, oh, it's all going to work out in the end. Everything's going to be okay. And it's not. It's only going to be okay if you make it okay, if you are putting in the daily work to make it come true. So you've got to have faith, but it's got to be backed up by those daily actions, putting down a brick every single day. So that last company, for example, for years, in the very start, there was nothing coming in. There was no external validation that anything was working, but I had faith that it would all work out. And sure, there's days where that faith is really tested, where you do start to doubt, but overall I was an optimist that everything is going to work out as long as I'm taking those daily action steps. The third thing is shutting yourself off from the rest of the world in terms of their opinions on what you're doing, whether it's going to work or not. Most people, if you share your ideas for this big project that you're trying to build, most people, they're not going to support it. Friends, family, they're just not. The majority will not, because it's outside of their reality of what they feel they can do or what they feel is realistic or possible. And most grand ideas that people have, they're not realistic. They're just not. And so for me, I was always fine with working by myself for long periods of time, keeping everything in my head, not sharing it with other people around me. And I was just naturally fine with doing that. But I would say to you, if you struggle to get support from other people around you for your big goals, stop sharing them. Keep them in your mind, or be more careful about who you share them with. Now, if you would like to see this in action, if you want to see me building Scale Fast from nothing into what I think is going to be remarkably successful sometime in the future, the best way to do that is, number one, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then number two, get on my email list. You can join my email list at scalefast.io, get a free trial of Scalefast. And right now, when you do that, when you get that free trial, you're going to look at it and you're going to think, there's not really much here. And there's not at this time. But every single day, you're going to see this thing getting built. And that's my goal. My goal is to turn this into just an idea, into something that right now doesn't have a lot. And a year from now, 2 years from now, to something that is very successful. So if you want to see whether that happens or not, get a free trial and watch. Let's see what happens. But that's my advice to you. If you want to build a big goal, focus on those three things. And I hope that this helps you in some way. We'll talk tomorrow.